Now I want to bring in Fil Waters because he's my go-to. He's a retired homicide detective. He's worked on more than 400 homicide cases for the Houston Police Department. Phil, I always say this. Whenever there's a crime, or it looks like there's a crime, and there's mystery, and we have missing people who have not been declared dead, they're still missing, we usually assume that the police will shout it from the mountaintop and beg us to cover the story to help get tips, and that family members will do the same. It's the opposite here. Cops won't talk to us, and they have instructed family members not to talk to us. What do you make of that?
Well, it's good to be back with you, Ashley. This is a strange case, no doubt. I would tell you this. You're talking about a town at the state line there between Kansas and Oklahoma that's got maybe 1,900 people living in it, and it's a tight-knit community. And my speculation is that they don't want the media in their business. Now, in terms of law enforcement, there is a reason why they are keeping this stuff so close to the vest. I'm sure that when they saw what they saw at the car, no telling what that was, but there was something there that indicated that there was a foul play, to put it in their words. So I'm not, and I think they may have an idea of what the scenario was and who they're looking at. I think they are just being very close to the vest because they don't want to compromise what they know in this investigation.
That's what I figured. I figured they're being quiet because they got their eyes on the prize and they don't want to tip anybody off. But I also want to ask you, you know, in this day and age, I'll just go back to the Riley Strain story in Nashville. There were cameras that captured his journey all the way to the point where his bank card was found and he was not seen again. This is so rural. I'm going to ask our control room to air some of those pictures of the those roadways. They almost look like dirt roadways in the middle of like the Great Plains. But for some power lines and a stop sign, there's nothing but grass. There's no cameras anywhere, right? There's no cameras. There's no surveillance. You're not going to be able to do the digital trail. I mean, look at this. You know, this is one of the hardest things to solve, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's tough, but my speculation here is that Jillian accompanies Veronica because she is there for support in whatever this going and getting custody of this child. And you're talking about the panhandle of Oklahoma, and there's nothing out there. And like I said, Elkhart, Kansas is, maybe got 1,900 people living in it. So it's a flat area with not a whole lot going on. And and this is just pure speculation on my part, but I think that there was a point where they were going to make an exchange of some kind, and perhaps that location changed. And that's why the car is found where it's found. So something happened that changed up what the scenario was supposed to be. And then whoever met them, something went horribly wrong. And either one or both of those women are injured, or there was some sort of violence that occurred there that caused the people or a person that was there to panic. And what do I do? And so my thought is that could one person accomplish taking both of these women? And they could if one of them is hurt and the other one is now threatened. But I'm thinking there's maybe going to be a couple of people involved in this. And then when what happens, they go into panic mode, and all they can think of is get these two women out of there and let's take them someplace and figure out what the heck we're going to do.
I'll also say, Phil, if one person has a gun, that's control for a group. It could have been that as well. Phil, I'm out of time, but thank you. And I'm going to call on you again as we continue to dig and try to sort out this bizarre mystery. Thank you, sir. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.